Hello, everyone. My name is Drew Dosek, and welcome to Trading the Close. This was an interesting day. We had a gap down lower. Price action moved just slightly lower for the first hour of trading, and then we popped up, retested the open, pushed a little bit higher. But basically, today was a flat day across the board. It's important to note that tomorrow we're going to have an announcement from our president, Donald Trump, at 4 o'clock regarding the tariffs. So price action today felt a lot like pre-FOMC meetings, and I anticipate price action to act that way tomorrow because we had a ton of volatility on Monday. Didn't really see that today. So let's jump into the heat map, and I'll show you what I'm looking at. We've got right now we've got the Dow Jones up 0.1%, NASDAQ up 0.5%, S&P 500 up 0.5%. Oil basically flat, down 0.23%. Gold flat as well. Bitcoin's had a great day, but you look over here on the right-hand side of the charts, and we have, we look over here on the right-hand side of the charts, we've got a lot of red and green that's going on here, and that's what we have on basically a flat day. And again, the S&P 500 only up 0.5%. This is the action that we're going to see. So let's jump into the spiders so I can show you a little bit more about what to anticipate in the coming days. And right here, I'm going to highlight what I had pointed just the other week. We have a time count that's developed that helped create this parallel channel and another time count moving up, something that I teach in Mastering the Overnight Trade, a sleeper hold. This all can be predicted, much like what I did right here, developing this parallel channel. Price action came down Monday. We had a huge bounce up perfectly right at the bottom end of this parallel. I was buying left and right for my swing trading service with small caps here at Verified Investing. We were just buying up all these positions, making sure that we get our averages right for this impending bounce that did happen. Now, tomorrow, everything could be different. So I anticipate, much like today, somewhat of a flat day towards the end of the market close. And then depending upon the news, what happens with those tariffs, how widespread they're going to be. We could see a continued sell-off, maybe even retest in the bottom of this parallel right around 546.94. And if we have any sort of positive news and development, you can imagine that this area, the 50% area of the parallel, will be tested at 571. All right, that brings me into Bitcoin. Bitcoin had a great day today. It's moving up, as you can see here, as a nice green candle. And then what we have is a broken trend line with the price action right here. Whenever price breaks major trend lines, price then likes to repeat itself, go back up and test the trend line. Now, this is a pretty steep trend line, so I'm not sure if Bitcoin gets all the way up here unless we have positive economic news. But you can anticipate price to go back up roughly around this $87,000, $88,000 area on Bitcoin before then making the decision to then fall back over, go into my target, 72 to 74,000. Now, gold, as you see here, is broken above. And I've pulled up the weekly chart on gold to show you and highlight this parallel channel. Now, gold has broken above this area mainly because of the uncertainty in the market. And with uncertainty in the market, investors like to go to places of safety. So gold continues to push higher. We are above this area. I anticipate this being in the near term a blow off top, and we still could go higher on gold, but then I anticipate price to eventually come back down, retest these pivots, which is roughly under $3,000. And then if we do have a bigger sell-off on gold, we can be talking about $2,700 an ounce. Now on to silver. Silver's pushed up quite nicely with this trajectory. Today it's having a down day, but that's all right for silver. We can consolidate in this area before potentially testing this resistance area at 34.86. Now keep in mind though, the longer that price stays here and potentially even closes beneath this green candle, that could be bearish. So a near term maybe pullback would happen depending upon if we close beneath this candle. That candle is at $33.57. So keep that on the radar. On to oil. Oil has had a fantastic break above this inclining trend line right here. I had mentioned before that we needed to fight to get back into this wedge. And if we do so and confirm like it did right here, then price action likely is going to continue higher on oil. So, and as you see here, that's exactly what happened. Monday, we had a nice move up. Today, reversing a little bit of those gains. But if we chop around here, I think we could still push higher up into 73.91, where it's going to be the next resistance level. Down below, support is going to be at $69.27. Natural gas up next. Bring this to your attention for a couple reasons. If I scroll back on the chart, notice the Fibonacci sequence that's displayed right here with all these different levels for a move up in natural gas. And if you see here, natural gas had its initial move up, came right into that resistance, came down, created this bottom end for the Fibonacci sequence. When it came back up, it tested that area again, got rejected. And most recently, we came into the 382 fib retrace and created a topping tail. Topping tails are bearish on the natural gas or any chart. And so since then, price action has curled back over and come down. Support area will be right here, $3.57, followed by $3.42. On the up end side, we can retest this area at $4.80. And if it does that, it could have the potential to break through and hit that upper end of that trend line. On to Google, one of the bigger players in the market. And I want to point this out in a longer time frame too, because I do anticipate selling pressure continuing for the markets. As I've mentioned before, we have a cycle date coming in the middle of April, April 14th to be exact. There should be some negative influence on our markets here in the US during that time frame. They could start as early as 7 days prior or even 7 days after. So there's like a 2-week window. Keep that in mind when evaluating stocks, especially if you're interested in going long for the long term. So back into Google, we see that Google here has a trend line that's developed from 2023 and has pushed on through this low pivot. And if you look where price action would correspond with this trend line in the near future, it's going to be roughly $143.89. Should price action curl over and go there within the next couple of weeks, I think this would be an awesome and fantastic support area. It should be very strong to provide a near-term bounce, potentially taking price back up into these lower pivot areas. So, but if Google and the markets have good news coming with this tariffs in the near future, you can expect resistance here on the bottom end of this parallel at 166.37, followed by 175.95. Now into some day trading education. This is something that we do here at Verified Investing. I love day trading. It's very rewarding if you know how to do it correctly. You can generate income nearly every day, and these income gains can be quite substantial. So with a day like today with minimal volatility, I look to the previous day to give me insight as to what stocks I wanted to trade. And last night I found here FSLR had a bottoming tail. You can see it's highlighted right here with a low of $120.60. Usually bottoming tails and how they work, the best way to play them is to not buy them right when they occur. You wait for a retrace. Wait for the 50% retrace of that bottoming tail, and that's a great low risk, high reward opportunity to get into a trade. So if we zoom in closer on the 1-minute chart, and I scroll back here, you can see price action this morning right here on April 1st. We came down right into this 50% area right in here to get into that trade. And then notice also what happened. I had a trend line. Trend line analysis is extremely powerful and critical to understand whenever you're taking trades. So I had this trend line as backup. We broke beneath this area. I added to the position. Considering that bottoming tail on the daily chart, this was a longer time frame play. Price, when it came back up to this trend line, busted through, allowing us in the members to take profit on that day trade, getting in and out. If the market did persist to sell down in the morning, which it did up until about 10:30, price action on FSLR could have gone lower and hung out here till the end of the day, and then eventually would have bounced up with that bottoming tail. But anyway, as you see here, price eventually came and broke through that trend line, telling me that there was a very positive push for FSLR in this very near term, finishing all the way up here at 127 on the day. Next up, Roblox. This was another day trade I took. Now back to the daily, or pardon me, the 10-minute chart, but I'll also show you the daily. There really wasn't a lot of price movement. We did have a big gap up on Roblox, which the markets didn't gap up. So that showed me Roblox had relative strength today. So back into a closer time frame at the 10-minute chart, I drew a trend line from here to here, but I also was isolating the gap fill from yesterday's price action. Gap fill here was at $58.30. And we had and usually in day trading, you want to have big moves, whether they're up or down, coming into a level of support or resistance to take that trade. So right here, you see price action gapped up and then nearly in a vertical line came straight down about 6% right into that gap fill, giving me the opportunity to go long for that trade. And just like what I described to the members today in our live day trading room, when we were in this trade right here, we weren't out of the money that long. But when we did have a bounce back up, we did come right into this chop, which is near-term resistance. And we did take profit right in this area. But what happened after this was an inverse head and shoulders pattern. There's a shoulder, head, and a shoulder. And I told the members, you know what, if this retraces down, this could be a good opportunity for a long position. And I'm sure many of them did hop right back in Roblox and look at that beautiful run that it had, giving you a lot of opportunity to take profit with very minimal risk considering what was going on in the markets. Now that brings me to a close here at Trading the Close. Thank you all so very much for watching. Again, my name is Drew Dosek, pro trader here at Verified Investing. I look forward to bringing you some more information tomorrow. Remember, 4 o'clock, we should have news regarding those tariffs that are pending and should be pretty much widespread. But more details to come. Can't wait to figure those out. And then we'll be trading that action come Wednesday and Thursday. Have a great day, everyone.